Baron Zemo is super unique. We get to play a Black Pips matter strategy that revolves around filling our graveyard and reanimating or recasting big threats to overwhelm the table with value. Whenever we cast a black spell from hand, Zemo connives, and then once we have 15 or more Black Pips in our graveyard, we can use his boast ability to clear out the yard and free cast the biggest spells that are in there. This is crazy, and we can fill our yard super fast, cast cheap high value spells from hand, and then recur some of the biggest spells that Black has to offer. For the mill, cards that self-mill each turn are fantastic. Cemetery Tampering gives us Hideaway 5, meaning we can put a super scary card under it and recast it later for free. Ripples of Undeath is really effective for card selection, so we don't mill anything we need. Vandania will let us repeatedly surveil with each instant and sorcery we cast, as well as dealing damage. And Planetarium of Wan Shi Tong will let us set up the top of our libraries to make sure we're getting rid of the right cards, as well as giving us free spells when we strive surveil. Graveyard shooters like Buried Alive are fantastic. We can easily get 10 pips into the yard with one spell there between what we grab and the shooter itself. And then Final Parting is also great because we can drop a bomb in our graveyard and either grab a reanimate spell or whatever spell we need at the time. In terms of big threats, the more pips the better. Umbra Stalker is great since it actually scales off the number of black pips in our graveyards, meaning we can majorly scale it up once we have enough mill going. Cards like Shard of the Nightbringer will let us dome somebody for half their life total when they come out. Ardwin the Usurper will let us steal big creatures from our opponent's graveyard, and Zodiark Umbral God will force a mass sacrifice. Importantly, we can also use Zemo's effect to cast non-creatures. Profane Transfusion will give us a huge body and let us make sure we're on the highest life total at the table, or a Skullstorm can clear out a lot of threats and massively chunk our opponents down, particularly if we combo it with another board wipe first. Afterlife from Valome is also great since we can cheat it out early thanks to its delve cost, and we also want a couple of standard reanimation spells to pull big threats out of our yard in case our commander gets removed. We can also use a few cards that let us get Zemo through for damage. Assassin's Regalia is great for making something unblockable, else we can use Spider-Man Noir and put even more counters on him when we swing out, and surveil a bunch more cards into our graveyard. We can definitely win here off of a Voltron sub-theme, so it's worth including a few cards like Tainted Strike to help us surprise our opponents with instant kills, or Hammer of Nazan to give Zemo indestructible if we're swinging out for a boast activation. Overall, super cool riff on standard devotion strategy since we don't need these cards on the board. We've also got a similar card in blue with Name War, so I'm hoping we see at least one of these cards per color to leverage some of the big bombs of lots of pips. I'm working through building as many of these Marvel commanders as I can, so drop me a comment if you want to see a particular one, and follow me for more Magic the Gathering content.